Sure. Louisiana For Lifeline is a new nonprofit organization that supports the Lifeline phone program. The Lifeline phone program is basically a program that helps provide very basic, limited phone access for seniors, citizens, and veterans who qualify, who are at the lowest end of the economic spectrum.
Okay. Now, am I correct, just so that I get the nomenclature correct, and so people who are opposed to the program know exactly what I'm referring to? It's otherwise, I guess, named by those who oppose the program as the Obama phone. Am I correct?
It is somewhat erroneously referred to as the Obama phone. The program was actually created about 30 years ago by the FCC under the Reagan administration. It was expanded under George W. Bush's presidency, and it was actually mandated in the 1996 Telecommunications Act by Newt Gingrich's Congress.
Why the negativity?
Sure. Well, I think there's a perception that folks are that a phone is somehow a luxury, and what the Lifeline phone program provides is a very, very basic phone. Subscribers can opt for either a local landline service or a cell phone with about 2 or 3 hours of talk time per month. So it's a very basic, limited subsidy. I met a woman here in Baton Rouge. Her name is Audrey, who is a subscriber for the program. She's about 70 years old. She raised several kids. They're all grown now, and she worked all her life. And she walks now with a cane with some difficulty. She'll probably have to move on to a walker here at some point, but she's sort of a prideful woman and doesn't want to pick up the walker yet. And if something happened to her, like she fell and she needed to call emergency services, and just things like keeping up with doctor's visits and keeping in touch with her family, those aren't really luxuries. So I think there's a perception that that phone is a luxury, but people do need access to basic communications. Sure. Well, the 1996 Telecommunications Act provided for what's called the Universal Service Fund. And the Universal Service Fund is administered by the Universal Service Administration Corporation, which is a nonprofit that was set up by the FCC specifically to run this program. And Lifeline is one of several different programs that is funded through the Universal Service Fund. Basically, the way the program runs is that the telecommunications providers themselves actually donate into the Universal Service Fund, and then those funds are divvied out from there. It's a way of just sort of evening out the cost. So there's a perception that this is, hurting our budget deficit, but this program actually takes no money from the budget.
Okay, but it does come from the people, obviously, in terms of their bill, their monthly bill, and so that money goes into the fund. Is that the way it works? Sure.
The telecommunications providers themselves actually have the choice of whether they can they add the universal service fee onto your bill or just charge you a flat fee. That's sort of their call. Yes, we do get a universal service fee on our bill. About 40 cents of that universal service fee is applied to the Lifeline program per month. So we're talking about $4.80 a year. I give more to the Salvation Army every Christmas.
Sure. Beneficiaries of the program are people who are disabled, the elderly. I mean, those are the poor also. Those are three categories of people who are really getting the benefit of this program.
Right. Each household that meets certain qualifications is allowed to have one line. They can choose either a landline or a 2.5-hour cell phone. Currently, there are about 35,000 veterans who actually are on the program here in Louisiana, and 156,000 seniors. They make up about 40% of the people on the program. It varies by provider. You know, we're talking about 150 minutes, which isn't a lot when you stop and think about it. I talk to my girlfriend 45 minutes every day. So it's really just to keep in touch, make those doctor's appointments, call 911 if they need to, and you know, if they're able-bodied, look for a job. Okay.
And actually, it seems to me, especially what's happened here in New Orleans, it seems like it might be a pretty handy crime-fighting device.
Absolutely. You know, the phone, just as a tool, has saved countless lives since its development. You know, I met a guy actually in New Orleans. His name was Sherman. I keep reminding myself he is a retired Marine, not an ex-Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Sure.
And he sort of exudes that quality. And a real nice guy to talk to. I really enjoyed meeting him. He's also a subscriber to the program. He's retired now. You know, he was in his neighborhood in New Orleans, and just someone was walking down the street firing a gun just randomly at people's houses. And he was able to use that phone to call 911. The police arrived, arrested the suspect, and no one was hurt. So yeah, it's absolutely, you know, being able to report a crime it's absolutely critical. Sure, I met another guy, another veteran. He's a younger veteran who was on the program. His name escapes me right now. I'm sorry, but he was transitioning out of the military, and you know, was kind of struggling just with what he wanted to do, and how to adjust to civilian life. And he got on the program. He was homeless for a little while. But he was able to get a job and build and develop a career for himself. And actually, he's no longer eligible for the program, which is.
Now, these phones, they're basic phones, even though they may be, say, wireless phones, cell phones. They're not smartphones. Are the people able to access the internet? Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just trying to get a better idea.
Sure.
Yeah,
you're not getting an iPhone, that's for sure. You're getting a very basic talk and text. The text capability we do feel is important just because emergency responders are increasingly relying on texting services to issue public service announcements and weather warnings and that kind of thing.
Okay, so to help out during hurricanes, that's one of the major issues we've had. Certainly trying to notify people who need to be notified and need to maybe get the things together earlier than others.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, people who are in contact that have telecommunications can organize their own evacuation.